So, hello everybody, Andy and Lucy here, and we are wanting to the aim of this time together, this video, is not to try to be like uber professional, but just to have like a conversation between the two of us, where we're able to just bring everybody that's in the UK and around the world that we don't get to see often, just up to speed with what's been happening, what's been going on for the last nearly 7 months of being in the US. What's it look like? What's family life look like? What's ministry life look like? What is God doing? And so we're just going to kind of have a conversation together. The temptation is like that we want to go like uber professional, but actually we just want it to be normal.
Well, we don't do professional, so we'll just be us.
Yeah. Whenever we try, it doesn't really work. So we're just going to go for like, let's just chat together, and hopefully like you guys can pick up on the heart of like what's going on. We really do want to like right from the outset, really like, we don't want this just to be like a tipping of our hat to like God's amazing. We really do want to honour the Lord right at the outset.
Yeah.
Because I think, and hopefully all the way through, like our job isn't to be like, well, God's great and these are all the things we're doing. Actually, it's God's goodness seeped through everything that we've been doing.
Yeah.
His heart, His leading. So that's what we're going to try and correspond today. So again, I think it'd be great to start just talking about family. I think people love, it always seems that whenever we share things about family, when we share things about the boys, where we share things like the personal things, actually, those things are really appreciated. So I think like, let's just give like a little update on, so do you want to give like a little update on how Josh is doing? What's going on in his life?
So Josh ended up being here a lot longer than we thought. He came for 5 weeks, then went back to the UK, and then ended up coming back for another 3 months, which was really special to have 3 months with Josh. And he kind of integrated into life here, church here, relationships here. He kind of gave himself fully whilst he was here.
Yeah.
And it was a special time because instead of just having 5 weeks and sending him back to the UK, it gave us that extra 3 months of bonding and special time with him before then him going back.
It seemed crazy to us that like he had 5 weeks here on a visa, but actually 3 months on the ESTA, on the tourist visa. But like Lucy said, it was a really precious time for him just to get knitted in. And we're really encouraged by what he's doing now, aren't we? Like, and he is.
Yeah, but for people to get to know him, I felt like the Americans really got to know him here in the church here, and kind of like, Josh, we want you to stay. And really, their hearts really knit to his. And it was just so special to see that. And Josh really gave himself to them whilst he was here. It kind of felt like he was on assignment when he was here. So yeah, he's got a lot of people that really miss him here, but obviously able to serve the Lord out back in the UK. And so, yeah, that's special. We miss him though. We do miss him.
It's funny, the first time he left, after he'd only been here like 5 weeks, like we were like all heartbroken at the airport. Like we were just all a mess. But actually the second time, we really saw the vision of it. We really understood, okay, this is the Lord. This isn't just Josh needs to go back because there hasn't been a visa open. Like actually, like this is, he's gone on assignment.
And you hold on to the Lord's word to you in the moment. And I felt like the Lord said to me, the Lord has need of him in the UK. Like wherever he's going, whatever people he's going to be with, the Lord has need of him. And so that really helped my heart because I was like, okay, the Lord needs him to be there and to do his work out there. And
So we're really thrilled. Shout out to Andy and Jeanette who are housing Josh. He's having an absolute blast with you guys. He so loves you both, and like it's thrilling for us to know that he's in a place that he's just so well cared for, loved as well. Like just shout out to people like Matt and Ruthie, just the whole kind of the Putney squad, and just and obviously like Noah, Leah, Caitlin. Shout out to Kat and Reese as well, just taking him in, and really he's just been a part of community there in Wales, and he's thriving. He's doing really well. So we're really thrilled with. We joke about it. One of our trustees is how old, Steve? He's 72. And like he was saying, like when he was like Josh's age, he went off on mission, excuse me, to the Lebanon, and he would send a letter to his family, and then a month later they'd receive it, and then a month later he'd get a letter back. So literally for 2 months, and by the time he got the letter back, everything was kind of outdated. Whereas actually the days that we live in, we get to talk to Josh almost every day,
yes.
connecting with the arising. What is it the Lord's speaking?
Yeah.
How can we be a support to that? And he's speaking into our lives. So it really is like, we count ourselves very privileged to be alive at this time.
Yeah.
And so the separation is not anywhere near what it could be. So that's really thrilling.
That's good. Yeah. Micah?
We're going to talk about Micah. Micah is sat with us. He's the man behind the cameras. He's the man that's making all the media work.
Come show yourself, Micah.
He's going to run in. Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah. So Micah's doing really well. Yeah, I feel like he's thriving in this season. He'd probably agree. He's able to really work with Kaylee, our worship pastor here at the church, and with a team, with Noah Stefano and with Alexis in School of Habitation production. And he's absolutely loving it. Absolutely loving it. They're like, what do you call yourselves?
The quadrinity.
I call them the quadruplets. The quadrinity. And they meet every Thursday or every other Thursday. I think every Thursday, isn't it? Yeah. And then on Wednesdays he does work as well. And throughout the week he's always editing and working on production and School of Habitation stuff. And
so we've really drawn like him into the arising, but then released him to be like just the gift that he is to Habitation Church, to School of Habitation, as well as obviously to the arising. And so he's just really flourishing. It's really wonderful because I had a dream. I don't really remember dreams like this that often, but I had a dream that the USA was going to be really important for Micah. And in particular, Micah. I'm like, why Micah? And I think it feels like it is a place where he's able to flourish. Yeah. And it's just wonderful. So in this season, as long as this season is whatever the Lord has for Micah, like it's been a real blessing. So he's really flourishing. And
growing in new skills that he didn't have before. Just kind of like tuning in on skills with camera work that he maybe wouldn't have had before, and sound and all the different
audio
things.
skills.
Audio skills that come together. And
I'll just leave it as that. I'm just going to drop that one in.
On a bigger scale, like, you're doing little videos here and there for the arising, and then he comes here and it's like much bigger, much more detailed, much more fine-tuned.
And he's just being able to be a tremendous blessing. I think that's the main thing. Like, we often see through the lens of what we do, but actually it's the blessing of who they are. So obviously Josh, where he is, it's not just about gifting in terms of talents, in terms of what we do. Like, it's so much of like the heart of the men coming through. So Josh, when he was here, Micah significantly, like they really are being
and with youth work, Micah as well, just
a great blessing to the people that were around. Isaac and Joe, not wanting to lump them together, but they're both in kind of like a homeschool. That's going well.
Yeah, they're kind of, it's not easy to do your homeschooling on your own, and it's all set up, so it's like distance learning more like, and so they're having to motivate themselves to work, but they are doing very well. Their grades are great, and there are some distractions, but not as many as if they were in school, so that's helpful. And they get their mornings of schooling done, and then they have afternoons free, because it is condensed into the morning, so it's a whole different lifestyle in many ways, but it works really well with us. I feel like the biggest thing for us, because we're in and out a lot and our evenings quite often are taken up with meetings, it means that we're in the house with the boys in the day a lot, and it means that we're present and we're able to help them and be around for them. Whereas if they're at school, they'd be leaving at like 6:30 in the morning or 6:15 in the morning and wouldn't be back till 2:15. And then we're busy with other things. We probably wouldn't give them much time or attention. So I feel like this is a really helpful dynamic for us and a safe place for them to be.
And then it's crazy, like their afternoons, they're like just being real about where we live. Like, it's funny, like this is where I pinch myself every morning, where we wake up in the morning and the sun does shine every day, and like it's just wild.
We say summer all year round. It's crazy. Yeah.
Palm trees and obviously living where we live, we just want to acknowledge like it is a blessing, and it's wonderful. And actually, we're learning that, we've learned what it is to abound with little, and we're in a season of learning to be like, wow, like this is wonderful. Like there's things that the boys can make use of. We've got a community pool that they enjoy. Excuse me. They've got the availability with friends just to go off, and they go off trampolining. Like trampolining is their PE lesson. So they're both really flourishing. Isaac is
Yeah.
He's doing a YouTube channel. He's kind of learning the skills with that, learning what it is to be confident about like sharing his personality, which he has a lot of personality. Anyone that knows Isaac. So he's got iFlips. We'll drop it in the link below. Sorry, that's a joke. Yeah, so Joe's helping him with the editing and Joe's just super, super creative. So it's an opportunity for him to develop his creative skills.
And he's still playing on the keys a lot and developing that, and just it's amazing to see his sensitivity to the Spirit and just learning more and more and developing more and more in that gift. And he's got Noah Stefano, who's kind of behind the scenes helping him and inspiring him to keep going.
That's a nice little shout out to our new addition to the family. So with Josh leaving to the UK, we have Noah Stefano. That's
our replacement.
Replacement for Josh. He's here most days. We see
Shout
him
out
most
to their
days.
whole family, actually. They are a wonderful family.
Love you.
They are actually visiting this weekend, so we're going to spend some time with them. But lovely family, very similar to us in the way that they seem to do family, and just we've just connected really well with them, and love the parents. We haven't met his brothers yet, but love the parents, and just so blessed.
It's a real privilege just to kind of draw him in, and that's been a blessing. And anyone that knows him, he's if you ever watch anything on Habitation Church, he's the guy on the keys. And he's just one of those. Him and Joe seem to have this same ability to play like 3 chords and just leave you wanting to just like be a weeping mess on the floor. It's quite an incredible thing. But anyway, so shout out to him. And just, it's been wonderful, I think, community. In terms of like for the boys, like especially for the younger two, but for Micah too. There's been real community here, friendship.
Noah's been a gift, I think, to Micah, and he's got a few others. But I feel like if Noah hadn't come, he would would have been a bit more lonely. So I feel like Noah, in particular, has been a gift to us as a family, as much as we've been able to bless him.
Come on,
He brings a lot of life.
And so that's just been really, that's kind of, I suppose, like family in a nutshell. In terms of the boys, in terms of us, Lucy, like, you just be real. Like, how do you feel like you've been like flourishing? What's God been speaking to you, doing in your heart? Before we get onto like the doings of the things that we've been here to do, like, how are you doing? Like,
I feel like I've been finding my feet with a new rhythm in a new place, and kind of discovering what this place is and how to do life here. And so there's been a season of adaptation to a new, shall I say, job description. But essentially coming to the realization that my job description does come from the Lord. It doesn't come from man. And so often it's like, Lord, what have you got for us this week? What do you want us to do? How do we live faithfully for you? And constantly coming back to the Lord in that, and only doing what he's asking us to do, no more, no less. And I had a picture at the start of the year that really helped me. And the Lord said to me, don't water fake plants. The fake plants are those obviously artificial plants. They really don't need water. But then there's the real plants that really do need water. And especially in this climate, I can't stay on top of it enough. I've got some pot plants, and people like Sarah Oakley, you'd understand this. I'm constantly having to water these plants because it's so hot. And so it's this essence of there's the real plants that need tending to, and those things I'm breathing out. And the Lord was like, my breath is on some live things, situations that I really want you to pour time and investment into, and there's the fake plants, just drop them. So I've been exploring with the Lord what that is in this season, and that's been really special, really helpful to be aware of, that we can be wasting time doing the wrong things, and just to kind of check in with the Lord. Okay, what Jesus only did, what he saw the Father do. And sometimes it's a daily thing. Sometimes it's every month or so we're like, okay, are we doing the right things in this area? Because you can kind of get carried away for a certain amount of time, and then the Lord's like, I need to course correct you a little bit because you're getting a bit carried away. You're doing too much, and you need to come kind of recalibrate in some ways. So I've been living that a little bit, and discovering in terms of connections with the Arising back in the UK, and spending time with various people back there, and spending time with people here, and just being led by the Spirit so often with God connections rather than forcing connections that are or relationships that the Lord's not breathing on, and so that's been helpful.
I feel like sometimes it's easier for like us to talk about each other, but like for me, like it's been exciting for me as a husband to like in this season see Lucy to be able to have just a home that she can just make her home, just having her own space to flourish in. And it really has been a place of flourishing until Lucy hurt her foot recently. We've been
4 weeks ago nearly. I fell down the bottom 2 stairs. Micah's here, he witnessed it. It was very dramatic. Strained my ankle really badly, and it's taken the swelling and everything's gone down, but it's kept me back quite a bit. We used to walk an hour's walk every day, 3.2 miles every day, and I haven't been able to do that for the last 4 weeks.
We've worked out that, I don't know, for all you mathematicians, that's a lot of miles that we've missed.
Over 80 maybe.
Yeah, but so I think just having that space, I don't know, it's just been a place of real flourishing for Lucy. I think as well in terms of, I know that if there were other people here on the ground, they'd just speak about the blessing that it's been to have Lucy be here and just to bring her kind of her mothering and her friendship and the way she is. Like it's been a place of flourishing, which has been really wonderful.
Well, one thing I was thinking about today in terms of, sometimes we try and justify everything we're doing, and we could beat ourselves up about the things that we're not doing when we think, I could have been doing this and I should have been doing that, and am I doing enough of this with these people? And and I feel like there's something so important the Lord reminded me of, which was just being in a place. And so often we underestimate the importance of just being a presence in a place, just being a family in a place. And thinking of Josh in Wales, just being there, it's so important just to be a presence. And people know where you are, they need you, they'll come to you. And just doing life with people. And so often when I think about, maybe I need to be doing more of this, more of that, actually just being here is important. Just loving Jesus, being part of a community, and doing what we're doing.
Very good.
But not excelling, not worrying about the things we're not doing all the time.
I think from my perspective, I feel like I'm doing really well. Like I feel really content. I feel really just blown away really by just God's kindness to us. I feel like it's a difficult thing to comprehend. I guess when we're coming to the States, we've really come quite differently to maybe how we've done previous things, like whether it's going to Wales or going to Portugal or wherever it might be. I think we've really come with a sense of a real open-handedness to Lord, this is your time for you to lead us in whatever way you want to lead us. Much less probably of a focus on what it is that we're coming to bring. Although probably at the same time, I feel like we have more to bring this time than maybe ever in our lives. So it's been a real joy to be able to be a blessing to people and release what it is that God's put in our hearts. We believe that to be true. But it's been a real season of just receiving his heart. I would say the number one thing that I've just been trying to posture myself to. The Lord gave me this word at the beginning of the year, and just this sense of an invitation into just a deeper communing with him. This sense of in Lamentations 3 verse 24, the Lord is my portion, says my soul, therefore I hope in him. The Lord is good to those who wait for him, to the soul who seeks him. And just this sense of discovering what it is to just really experientially delight and know the love of God. And it's been I don't know, it just feels like there's this beautiful culmination of both receiving from the Lord and releasing to others. And I guess maybe there's been seasons in the past where it's been more of it's almost felt like we're a well where you're just getting filled up. Whereas here it feels like there's this this constancy.
And I think it's something for life. If we don't live like this forever, then we're losing something. We have to operate out of a place of rest. We have to operate out of a good rhythm of receiving well from the Lord so that we can give out of what he's given us. And if we're just busy doing, we're just going to burn out. So I feel like the Lord in his grace has given us that revelation of we need to be a people of rest. So sometimes people say to us, what have you done this week? And we will have met with people and done various things, but a lot of what we do is spending time in rest, in the Word.
It's not the measurable things always. It's I guess if one of the hardest things about the arising is how do we communicate what we're doing well? Because often 99% of what we do is we sit around tables with people and I've just said different to that because it's... No, I know. Okay, so...
Out of the things we do.
Out of the things that we do, 99% of what we do is people. So there's this healthy rhythm. I feel this phrase, and it's been really key to me, is what gets you in the room keeps you in the room. And what William and Emily saw in me and Lucy and the boys that they really wanted to see come into Habitation Church was a family that had understood the rhythms of rest, understood the rhythms of what it is to draw from the Lord and to give out and to live like that. So we've been like, our aim here isn't to be busy.
No.
Our aim here is to be obedient. Our aim is to like just reflect that well. So it's...
And I feel like even Top Barn season, those few years at Top Barn really taught us to find our place in the Lord and to go deep in Him and not to be doing so much, but receiving. And so I feel like we've come into this of, actually, this is so key. It's so important.
But then as we go into the role, into terms of what we do, actually... like, we spend a lot of time, it's an absolute privilege to just shepherd people, to walk alongside people, to help people navigate very real challenges.
So going back to what Pastor William and Emily said was, do what you did in the UK, but come and do it here on a bigger scale. So what we'd learned and what we were doing with family and some wider families as well, other families on the side, do that here. So we're doing the same thing.
Doing large what you did in small before has essentially been the invitation. And so it's been a real joy, and just like a real shout out to William and Emily as well. Like, they're incredibly like just releasing of us to really be who God's called us to be. So it's not been like come now, like, you're here, like, work for Habitation Church, like, this is what you're here for. Actually, their understanding is, no, come be the arising, come be what God's put within you in the context of local church and in the context of wider than that. So we've been able to work alongside William and Kaylee and the team with SOH, which is School of Habitation, which has been a joy. And
Pastor Tim and Dawn
Pastor Tim and Dawn as well, So there's so many like profoundly important connections for us. And going back to like the School of Habitation, it feels like there's been a beautiful like coming together of the arising, like dovetailing with just the School of Habitation as well as Habitation Church, just being kind of what we need to be in this moment.
And so much, with School of Habitations. So that's a school that a Habitation Church runs, would you say?
Yeah.
With School of Habitation, what the Lord's been showing us is that we're part of the team in some ways, but we're so receiving from the teaching we're a part of that it's blowing us away, it's bringing healing to our hearts, and just revolutionising how we do things and see things. And so I feel like part of what the Lord said in us coming here was, you're coming here to receive. So although, yes, we're resting and we're receiving from the Lord, we're also receiving amazing teaching that's really just shaping us and developing us. And we feel like, wow, how is it that we more people aren't being exposed to this teaching, and how can we spread it further? So our heart is looking forward to how we can do that more for others, maybe back in the UK, and partnering with School of Habitation here in that.
And recognising that the Lord always said to us that, like, Habitation, that the Lord was going to provide us a vehicle for the arising in terms of for our growth, for our development, for us to kind of, gain I don't mean influence in the way that maybe we often hear talked about in the world, but actually just growing a sphere of influence in terms of affecting people. But I think one of the things that really thrills me is, like, I guess the mandate that God's put in our lives is to raise up a generation. And actually, rather than it being about us building ourselves, actually, what we do most of the time is behind the scenes. And that's a real joy. We've been able to bring the arising into the School of Habitation. What that looks like is pastoral interview calls where we just chat with people, and we're drawing people out. We're fostering, we're promoting the growth and development of others. It's like, how do we come alongside? How do we father and mother? And again, it's not stuff that's like that we can share left, right, and centre. Actually, a lot of it goes very much unknown, but actually is having a wonderful impact. And I suppose it feels like a thrill, and it feels like a privilege. I'm still getting off countless Zooms, countless calls where I'm like, Lucy, I can't believe the things that Holy Spirit was like just sharing, like, and just speaking to me for this person. Like, it blows my mind. And I quite like that. I quite like this kind of, like, you're pinching yourself like, Lord, is this like, it's just a wonderful privilege to be able to do this alongside the Lord, in terms of really just raising up a generation that knows him, loves him, is like giving themselves to him. So.
And sometimes we go into those conversations, pastoral conversations, we're like, wow, I've never been in a conversation like this before. And in the moment, I'm like, Lord, you've got to give me your supply. Because in 1 Peter 4, it says, and he will give you the ability out of his supply. And so in those times where we're like, Lord, what do I say now? And what am I supposed to bring now? And that's just real, isn't it? Like, we don't have the answers. We don't always know what to say to people. We haven't always been in these situations. And so, Lord, bring the increase. Give us your supply so that we can minister your heart to people and your love to people. And he's always done that. It's been amazing.
So obviously there's loads more probably we could say. There's been obviously over 7 months in terms of relationships, like Lucy mentioned, Pastor Tim and Dawn, like just the privilege that it is to actually do life alongside, like really like wonderfully, like when I say high caliber, I mean that in the right sense, like just wonderful people that draw the best out of us, people that believe in us. Is really wonderful. William and Emily have been just such a tremendous blessing. There's so many others that have just, I guess there's two types of relationships. There's those that really get behind us to enable us to do what we need to do. And then there's those others that actually just receive us, which is phenomenal. People that really believe in what they see in us. And they really were like, we love the Arising. We love what you guys carry. Like, will you come and speak it into our lives? So it's been a real privilege.
And those actually, it's really important. They are so grateful that the Lord has sent us here to minister to them at this time. I guess that they would say, thank you that the Lord sent you, you know.
Yeah.
And so for those that have lost us, so like our nephews and nieces, they were like, oh, you know, sad that we're leaving. But they're like, well, whoever you're going to, will be. How did? Noah, I'm sure you don't mind us saying this, but
yeah, no, Noah was like, you know, he was, how did he word it?
Our loss is their gain.
Our loss is their gain.
That was it. Our loss is their gain. And the people here were like, thank you for coming. Like, we're receiving you. And so it's such a blessing to see that people are receiving us in this time. The Lord's using us in this time to be able to minister to them. And yeah, wherever we go, the Lord, whenever he calls, he equips. And so if this is the place at this time, then we're grateful that the Lord is using us. And
I think it's really important to say as well, it would be remiss to not like our aim today isn't everything's amazing, life's amazing. Like, it's real, like life is real. A lot of what we're doing is stretching us, it's testing us, it's throwing us on our faces in prayer. It's throwing us on our deep, deep dependency on Holy Spirit to be like, Lord, even the things that we thought we were, that maybe we could endeavor to do in our own strength, we're recognizing, no, Lord, we don't want to do anything in our own strength. And I just want to like be really like, just really raw as well and say like, this has been a real season of like discovering just that great need for like, Lord, would you encounter us? Would you baptize us with your love? Would you give us that love of the Father that would enable us to love people just with the love of God, not like us trying our best or us like operating in our strength. One of the key lines that I love to reflect on is his power is made perfect in our weakness. So actually, I feel like the Lord has just been, he gave me this beautiful word last week that essentially was, Andy, but this is what Steve felt the Lord was saying to me. I'm emptying your pockets of all the things you've trusted in apart from me. So I don't want to give off any air that like we're here, like just like nailing ministry and family life. Like the Lord is dealing with the deep, deep parts of our hearts, and it's both painful, glorious, everything in between. And I guess like for me, like this reality that like the Lord is removing like fear of man, all sorts of other fears in my heart that the Lord is revealing. Like, so this isn't like it's not like one of those videos where it's like actually like every day is really raw and real. Like we're navigating the journey. We're navigating what it is to like, just even in marriage, like how do we keep growing? How do we keep loving one another? How do we, how do we not keep doing things that are maybe unhelpful and wrong rhythms? How do we grow? How do we like, and I think that's the beauty of this season really, is there's been this like, we're receiving from the Lord. We're receiving from the Lord through others, which again is a significant thing. And then we're able to be a blessing and to be an encouragement. But actually, it really is out of
Yeah.
brokenness. It's not out of strength. And I think that's been one of the biggest learning curves for us.
Yeah, I felt as well like the Lord was reminding me last week that he wants us to ask him for help. Like so often we want to do things because we know how to do them. We know how to minister to this couple, or we know how to love that person. And the Lord was saying, I need you to be dependent on me and ask for help, because I actually want to help you in the role or in what you're doing. And also you can ask others to help you where you don't know what to do. Don't be so self-reliant that you're trying to do everything out of what you can do, or just not doing it because you don't know how. So often we get to a situation where I don't know what to do with that, so we shelve it. And the Lord will say, no, ask me for help and ask others for help, depending on what's right in the situation, because I want to give you wisdom, and his wisdom is pure. It's in James, it just talks about how amazing, how pure it is, how right it is. I haven't got the scripture in front of me, but yeah. And so, yeah, let's draw from his wisdom that is so profound, rather than trying to. And I feel like it blows your mind when the wisdom comes from God. It blows our minds. Like, I'd never thought to do that in that situation. And so, ask him for help.
And I guess even in that moment, it's right for us just to say, please do keep praying for us. It's a funny thing because, like, you know, I don't necessarily use a social media platform for like an Instagram or something like that to kind of where we really talk openly about ministry. A lot of what we share is like the fun. It's the, you know, team packet, fun videos and things that we're doing. But actually, there's obviously this whole other life that's going on here, and we really do need your prayers, your encouragements. Please do, if the Lord gives you words of encouragement or anything, any prayers, like when we post things in the group, actually it's so encouraging when we get those little replies of, oh, thank you, it's great to hear, like this is what we're praying for you, whatever it might be. That's not like a plug for that, but just like knowing like the impact that has on us when we have texts from people in the UK and messages of just, we're thinking of you, we're praying for you. Just feel like we really do need that. Like we're not wanting to be on an island in that sense. And I think just as well to say, like, I just feel like we're in a real season where it's fun. Yeah. Like there's a lot of fun in what we're doing here. Like we do, you know, we're able to drop to a beach because we're close by to a beach in Florida. We've got pickleball, like a minute away from our house, where I get the privilege of going and humbling my sons. Micah is currently laughing. I get humbled a lot, but that's okay. I try to hold my own. I believe in my head that I'm holding my own, but I am just getting humbled. Anyway, if I get a point against Micah sometimes, that's a victory. But it's just, I guess, like, we want to be faithful to reflect, like, God is good. Yeah. He is impacting our hearts. He's growing us as individuals. He's growing others through us. He's growing us through others. Like, it's a real time of flourishing, but it's also, it's a good season. Yeah. And I think like just trying to communicate that in a way that's like healthy and right and kind of encompasses all those different things is a challenge. But anyway, trying our best to do that.
Fun fact was like, what funny things have we found in adaptation to the US, and what do we miss about the UK? Because it's real, isn't it? And people like to know, what are you missing about the UK? And so one thing I'd like to say about America that I'm finding interesting in terms of adaptation is the drive-through banking.
That's cool.
Banking, that's cool. And you put your cards and whatever, your deposit sheet in a little tube, and it fires out into the bank, and then they put the money in, and it flies back. I'm not convinced that it's any quicker, but it feels fun. You don't have to get out your car. So in England, I'd have to park up, and then you walk to the bank, and you got to, go back again. And you have to pay parking. Whereas here, you don't have to do that. You park up at the bay, and the other one's curbside pickup. This is amazing. So I do my shopping on Walmart sometimes online. This is cool. And then I arrange pickup for 2 hours later, and then Micah goes off and picks it up for me if he's available. This is what, when I hurt my foot.
Micah is our driver.
He's our little driver. He's amazing. And they literally come to your car. You open the boot for them, or should we say trunk.
Yeah.
We open the trunk and the guy puts the shopping, it's generally a guy, puts the shopping in the boot, in the trunk, and then we shut it again and off we go. And it's crazy, you don't really talk to anyone, but we'd like
Although I still like to get out and be an Englishman and help the guy load it, and then I think he just gets confused, like, why are you doing this? Like, you don't need to.
Need to.
But I just find it entertaining to, like, how are you doing? How's your day? And they're a bit like, oh.
Interesting. Anyway, so those are my 2 fun facts. I don't know if you've got any 2.
Yeah, I guess I love, like, it is very, like, fun that we have a driver in Micah. Like, he just literally, I was thinking about it the other day, like how much my dad used to drive me around as a teenager. And I'm like, man, we don't drive Isaac and Joe around very much. I'm like,
Micah.
why? I'm like, oh, it's because Micah does. But actually,
and he loves it. If we ask him, do you mind going to go and get milk or something? I'm like, yeah, I'm going.
Yeah. Off he goes. Off he goes to goes shopping for us. But also, like, especially if he gets to drive our car.
Yeah.
Because God gave him his car, which has been a real blessing to him. But actually, when he gets to drive our car, that's a bit nicer. He loves that. No, I just think it's wonderful. I feel like we're flourishing in this place. I feel like we're enjoying the different aspects. I don't know that, like, I don't know. It's one of those funny things. Lucy says, what do I miss? Other than the people, I guess I'm just enjoying what it is that we're doing here. I'm very grateful that I can get Marmite here. If I couldn't get Marmite, I think, like, I don't know, like, the calling might be, like, really tested. I took a photo this morning. I have 8 jars of Marmite so far that, like, I've got through since I've been here. And probably Lucy threw a few away. But I'm storing them. It's
not cheap. This is $11 for a pot of Marmite.
And Lucy decided, this is just a fun fact, that she's like, oh, I found it cheaper on Amazon. But the normal jar is that size. Lucy got one $3 cheaper, but the jar was that size.
I didn't realise it was really so cheaper. Small. It was a small one. Anyway, you live.
But anyway, Marmite, that's a saving grace. I would miss it, but I still have it for breakfast every day.
And I still drink my tea all the time. And like, I go out, sometimes we have meetings and I get back and I'm like, I just need a cup of tea. And I don't feel like the Americans understand how much in England we love tea. It's like a survival drink. So often it's like, oh, I feel a bit stressed. I just need a cup of tea. Just put the kettle on, you know. So I still drink my tea.
Lucy will literally get back, scorching hot day. We've been out. She's like, oh, I just need a cup of tea. And she's just, I love that.
But I'm alone in it. No one else seems to enjoy tea.
Even I don't drink tea still. So
anyway, so come and visit and have some tea with me.
Yeah.
Actually, I met a lady in a cafe recently, last week. Her name's Mandy, she's English, and she said...
First English person that we've met,
Let's meet up for a cup of tea. And I was like, yes, I've got her number, and I'm going to meet up with her for a cup of tea.
But anyway, bless you. Thank you so much for just taking the time to listen. There's obviously so much more we could share. There are so many more people that we could give a shout out to. In terms of the arising, in terms of what it is, in terms of raising up a generation that's going to globally touch many, many people's lives. We just feel so encouraged that the Lord is connecting. I think this is a really important thing to say. He's networking.
Yeah.
He's connecting, not us striving to make connections with people, but actually the Lord showing us, like, 20-year-old couples that are just on fire for the Lord, that we can father and mother. You're going to hear more about a precious couple called Jackson and Chloe in the coming years for sure, as well as obviously our own boys. We're really excited that Noah, Leah and Caitlin are coming to visit soon with Josh as well in June for some, that's going to be a fun time. But just know and just be encouraged that we're just being as faithful as we know how to be with the mandate that God's given us, and where that's not always able to be like a newsletter worthy moment. Like, we believe that we're touching lives in a significant way, and it's going to be to the glory of the Lord. And I'd almost say, like, he's doing it. And I think for the first time in our lives, I think we realise, like, He's doing the work. He's the author of it. He's the one doing it. And we really are thrilled. I love it in the Argentine revival. Ed Miller uses this phrase, suffice it to say they were used of him. Like, that's our heart. Thank you, Lord, that you're in us. You're working through us. We love you. We want to honour you, Jesus, for all that you're doing. This isn't just a tipping of our hat to you. This is a, Lord, you're doing this. The arising, it's always been yours. It was your idea. You're birthing it. You're doing it. And we're just thrilled to be on the journey.
And that we're family on mission. It's not just us as adults, like the boys, and what the Lord's doing in them and through them is having a big impact. And just also the fact that there's a bigger picture at play. Sometimes we see the part that we're involved in the moment, thinking, okay, well, this is about this season, and the Lord's like, there's so much more at play. Sometimes I place you in a place because of X, Y, and Z, and we don't always understand it in the moment. But I feel like, not to underestimate what the Lord is doing on a bigger scale, and those connections, how important they are for the future, and the placement of where the Lord wants to place people,
I feel like I just want to drop this bomb at the end as well. I feel like, prophetically speaking, over our lives, it's incredible how, and it's not to do down this, because a lot of prophetic words that are given, they really are, there's a sense of like personal destiny about them. And God does use people, and he does use men, women, families, he does do all that. So it's not to take away the personal element, but I think it's been really helpful to understand that so much of what the Lord is doing when he speaks prophetically into our lives is actually for others. There's a generational legacy part of the prophetic that sometimes we miss. And I feel like this season that we've stepped into here, we're understanding, wait a minute, it's not just about, Andy and Lucy. It's not just about the packets. It's not just about Habitation, or it's not just about the arising. This is about the Lord's heart. And I know we obviously we know that, but actually I feel like it's seeping into the deeper places of who we are, that there is generational legacy about what it is that God's doing. And it just feels encouraging that, wow, this is way bigger than us. And it helps us to stop being self-absorbed, self-centered. It helps us to be much more focused on, okay, Lord, you do all things for your glory.
And that's why it's so good just to go with the flow of what the Spirit's doing, rather than trying to work things out all the time and trying to think it through your own lens of, well, I need to do this and this and this and this. But because the Spirit will lead us to things that might not always make sense, but he knows the bigger picture, and he knows where we need to invest time and energy and the connections that we need to have. So I just love that.
It's in our hearts to share more stories from the States. I think we're just learning and growing with what that looks like, but we want to share other people's stories. We want to, as the arising, we want to actually bring other people in to be able to share their stories that will be an inspiration to people that are in our sphere of influence. So do keep your eyes peeled for that. I almost want to say hold me to that, but then I'm like, because sometimes it is hard to know how to share the stories and what the right stories are to tell. But we really want to be faithful to make sure that we are just giving the Lord the glory. I think sometimes because of fear of man, we think, well, we don't want to be too self-promoting, or we don't want to be like putting out this content and that content. But actually, we do want to put out his content, and his content will bring him glory and will point to him. So bless you all. We love you all. Thank you for just taking this time to listen to our kind of update, ramblings, sillinesses, as well as like really like pertinent things that we feel the Lord is doing. So God bless you all. And we look forward to catching up and hearing from many of you very soon. God bless you.
Bye.